Hello. In this lesson, I'm gonna code a brain of our React execution. I call it brain because they're gonna have the option to think about the requests and give the answers for the given request. And also I'm gonna add some memory as well, which will make it like it a brain that can think about things and remember things that has happened already. So let's start to uh, code our brain class. So let's brain. And the base of this class will have the init, init, and then I'm gonna have sub config, this config here will be passed, it will be agent, and then I'm gonna have some messages, and we have that's all. Just make it simpler. Then I'm gonna have the option to remember a given message, and this will basically add to our list of messages. We're gonna have the option to recall as well, which will basically get all the message that we have already stored on our message list. And then you're gonna build the most important one, which will be a option to think about a prompt, a given prompt. And you're gonna pass here some output format that will be of type optional type based model. So let's start importing here. Agent, common, typing, base model from agentic, and basically that. Let's add this as a, and then here we are gonna have messages that will be sent, and this to the OpenAI. When you are defining messages, we send the prompt as part of a list of messages, and this message will have different. It will be an object, I think, and this list will be an object with the system role and user role. So the system role will be the agent instructions that you have defined when you're defining the agent. And then you have the user that would basically be the prompt. And then after that, we will actually create OpenAI parameter, OpenAI parameter, and which contain the model name, which we're gonna get that from our agent, and the temperature, the phone, and you're gonna set the max token here as 1,000. We could get it from a config. So let's have big token limit and the list of message that will be sent. And when you are sending, basically the OpenAI API give us the option to give what type of a object that you want them to return. This is called the structured return or structured response. So where you can actually pass a type of the object that you want to the response to be. So if we are given that, if you have given that format, which will be optional, type optional, if you have given it, we want the OpenAI to set this response format as this type that we're given. And then the completion here, we are going to actually call something that is beta chat, parse the parameters that we have set in here, and then return the parsed version of the response, which is basically be the object that was given as the output parameter. If it was not given, then you're gonna be just respond or call the same name function. Let's call it model child complete grade. And then you're gonna do the same. Now is content message rather than the parse, because then you're gonna actually get a string as a response. And it's basically that for the thing. And I think that's all that we need for the brain at this moment. So I hope it's clear what we're trying to achieve here. So we have just wrapped a OpenAI API call and to do the thinking, where we'll actually just pass the parameter that if you want to a structured response or not. And another thing that you are getting, it is the system prompt is actually coming from the agent itself. And what else? And we have added this two option here, that's to remember what was sent and to get all the list in a string for everything that you are kind of trying to remember. And now let's see how we can plug this in our React executor. So let's just have brain, and we have a brain and give the configuration. And with the brain, let's try to use this brain in our thought before we use the thought. I'm gonna just add a help function to get the list of tools. And this should actually get the agent, and we will have to actually loop over because we don't want everything from the agent function. We only want the tools type of tool type. And for that, we will have to check the if it is of type instance tool. So it will be tool for tool in agent function if instance of type tool. And this would give the list of tools. But then we want that in a string. So I will just send tool and set tools, and I will actually want the tool dot name for to name, but I will actually concatenate this. Yes. So our tools would be I wanna one is so what we are doing here is we are actually looping over all the functions of that our agent has, getting only of the function of type tool, and then we loop over all these tools and extract the name and description. So you can then we'll break down each tool description, name and description with a new line. This is to indicate that it's a new line, and so it will create a list of tools separated by a breaking line. So basically this. So with this, you can then say tools, go get tools, current agent, and with these tools, list of tools, we can actually use in our prompt. And so this prompt, it's a bit big, so I'm gonna copy from here that I have it here. I don't want to type all this. So let me just go through this very, very quickly. So this is a prompt, and this prompt is basically saying answer the following request as best you can. The request it is that we have defined. And first, think step by step about what to do. Plan step by step what to do, and continuously adjust your reasoning based on intermediate results and reflections, adapting your strategy as you progress. Your goal is to demonstrate a thorough, adaptive, and self-reflective problem solving, emphasizing dynamic thinking and learning from your own reasoning. Make sure to include the available tools in your plan. Your available tools are. That's why you have created this function here, because you want to pass it as a simple string for our prompt. And then we also here we pass the context that has already happened for each loop, because each call you have an answer, and we want to register all the things that has happened, and also pass to the ChatGPT to digest that and give us what you were expecting. So this is basically the prompt. So this prompt I have kind of played with this, and this is what I have delivered the best result. But you can tweak that if you want, and as you like. So next, let's try to call the OpenAI, and for that we're gonna use the think method, and we're gonna pass the current agent, but we don't have a expected type that this object, its response should be. So we are now going to pass it here, and with the response, let's just first, let's try to thought. This is part of the thought, and the thought response. And something important, we want to remember that the assistant has responded with this response. Okay. And I think that's basically all that we need to do here. Let's try to run it. There you go. So we have our request, like we're trying to get the double of the Linux server age, and then it's called multi-agent, and then that's the thought that the ChatGPT responded to us, and it's basically saying that we need to find out what's the current age, and they're gonna use this people search tool to find in the search birthday, to make absolute sense, calculate the double of his age, and also I have his current age, use calculator to do that. So that's basically the plan and the thought process. And now we have to go through the other steps to keep iterating on this. So I think that's covered the first step, which is basically plug the OpenAI API to our executor, and we added a wrap that would help us to get some memory applied to our executor. So I hope it made sense. Next lesson, things are going to become more clear. See you there. Bye-bye.